begin. Setting this up, Walls of the Imperial Tomb. Going to be searching our deck for an I'm Seti. I'm Seti will be discarding a card, but first we're going to Small World, banish a Max C to grab a Punk Seaman. Sure. What are we discarding from the hand? Nothing yet. We do have Call by the Grave to finger a potential Ash Blossom, which is the main out to the I'm Seti. Punk Seaman being negated by the Impermanence, unfortunately, so now we have to discard the Call by the Grave. Well, Imperm not so good against Horus. We're going to be adding the King Sark plus drawing an additional card, set up the King Sark, reborn the I'm Seti. By discarding the Happy, we're also sending another Horse in the deck to the grave. Now we have triple Horse to reborn. We have Giant Trainer that's a draw 3, but we do see that there's an Imperm. Unfortunately, the draw 3 will be negated. So we thought our Punk Seaman ate the only Imperm, but there was another. So triple draw is no good. And what is your deck even doing? What is your extra deck looking like? You got Sprite Elf in here, number 90. We got the Spell Negate, Monster Negate. All right, this is where Yubel just claps up a Rogue deck. Let's speed this up and take off the scores to reset them. Come forth and summon Yama with 2 Fiend Monsters, search on our deck for Shavara. Using the Opening the Spirit Gates, discarding a Triple Tactics talent to reborn the Dark Beckoning Beast. Special summoning the Squirmer to make an Anguish. Anguish linking off of the opponent's monster to make a Little Knight, not an access code talker, to banish, so we now cannot attack directly. We're going to be popping our Dark Beckoning Beast to trigger the Yama in the graveyard to reborn after we summon our Shavara to then make an Unchained Soul of Rage to link off during the opponent's turn, setting up an Escape of the Unchained. We can't attack directly, but we still have a battle phase. As we have here, how many disruptions? We have pop the King Sark right away. That's a good one because it's an inherent special summon during the main phase to summon the Horse cards. You can't change them, activate into summon because they don't activate. And then we don't have Yama in the graveyard. So that's it. That's our one disruption. Oh, well, we were not going to pop the Rage. We had an Anguish. So we have also the Unchained Rage, which will link off of the monster, making... do we have another Lil Knight, something into another disruption potentially? So there we go. About 2 to 3 disruptions. Punk Jam. Every time we pay life points to activate one of our punks, we'll be drawing a card here. Chain Maxi as we then chain the emergency teleport, so they draw one less card here. We also have to be careful of that Psy-Frame Gear Gamma. Not going to be setting up any Horse cards here, just hoping and coping off of the Maxi, which off the top of the freaking deck, Ash Blossom newly drawn to negate the Maxi added through Small World. Damn. And Small World's a -1. You activate it to lose a card from your hand, then add 1 card, and then the 1 Ash Blossom, that's it, stopping that Maxi search. Damn. Now, let's speed this up. Let's see if we can lethal the opponent here. Setting up the Spirit Gate after the Dark Beckoning, searching for it, making the Yama. A lot of Yubel players cannot lethal an open field, but still, we are going to scoop this up after our... You know, you would think that if they had Ash Blossom, they would have used it on our other plays, so let's search for our Max C, and the dude just topped it off the top of the deck. Setting up a Nightmare Throne. We're going to Ash Blossom, negate the Nightmare Throne. We do have Call by the Grave to finger that Ash Blossom. Negate. Our disruptions here. Pop a card, link with a card, Lil Knight banish, Apollo negate, Apollo negate, Apollo negate, Phantom of Yubel negate, Ash Blossom negate, Imperm negate. 10 disruptions to a 5-card hand. And what I said earlier is if you have more disruptions than the amount of cards in their hand, you don't even have to think about your disruptions. You just say yes. Negate everything. Okay. All right, nice. Yubel in a good spot, Konami. Nicely done. Let's hop into another match. All right, Graph is going to special summon onto the field. The Burning Abyss cards state that if there's a non-Burning Abyss in the field, they die. So that is the downside of playing them. DPE is here. Non-target pop a card on the field, plus a monster negate and 2 fog blades. So we have 4 disruptions. DPE will activate a comeback during the next standby phase. And look at that. The older deck sets up 4 disruptions. The newer deck set up 8 to 10 disruptions. Power creep. Will our 4 disruptions be enough? The opening the Spirit Gate, only 1 is activatable per turn, so we could safely pop this knowing that they're not going to be able to activate another one, and on the activation is ideal because on activation it searches. So non-target pop it, wipe it out. Thus we have 3 more disruptions. We have Monster Negate, Monster Negate, Monster Negate, and that was enough, mate, to stop Yubel. Let's hop into the next match. All right, Dark Beckoning Beast grabbing a Spirit Gate. Spirit Gate searching the Chaos Summoning Beast. We have Monster Negate, Monster Negate, Monster Negate, Monster Negate, Link Off, Little Knight, Little Knights, and we have Pop. So 8 disruptions, not counting the Call by the Grave. 8 plus Call by the Grave. Jackalope, you definitely do not want to negate that. It would be activatable again. Setting up the Shade, special summoning itself onto the field, making a Dark. Dark could steal a Dark monster from the opponent's graveyard, but we're going to use our 1 of 8 disruptions to go into Little Knight. So we now just went from 8 disruptions to 6 because we lost one of our disruptions since it wasn't able to banish a card in the field on summon, but that was still enough to stop them. As we now make our D-Lotus, summoning it to summon from the deck a Spirit of Yubel, triggering to grab a Nightmare Pain. We're going to Spirit Gates, discard, reborn the Dark Beckoning Beast. As we also, a lot of people forget about this fact. If you have a level 10 on the field, the Spirit Gates can recycle a continuous spell in the graveyard back to your hand. It's the best way to recycle your Nightmare Pain. So if you have a Nightmare Pain in the graveyard and you open up a Nightmare Throne or have it or you drew into it, you could search for the Dark Beckoning Beast to grab the Spirit Gates to grab back your Nightmare Pain. We have Nightmare Phoenix on summon, discard a card to pop a back row card, wiping out that Fog Blade, as we then make a Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn on summon, discard the Veiler, return back into the deck, Phantom Knight's Wing, as we further Shokan into an Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker, but boost up to 6,300 attack, as we use the Nightmare Throne to search our deck for the Dark Beckoning Beast. Sure. We already used the Spirit Gates to discard and reborn. Yes, yes we did. As we also have now a Muckraker onto the field, protecting any of our cards that would be destroyed. The monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect to contribute a Fiend instead. We're going to Call by the Grave, finger the monster that he wants to reborn with that Fog Blade play. I do not think so. Let's go. Let's now hop into another match. Ice Jade versus Snake Eye. Begin. Deep Sea Diva, Ash Blossom negate. Deep Sea Diva, by the way, is re-emerging in the meta over on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta as the OCG is playing. Where was it? I guess it was not this recent. Maybe I have to go to the tier list here. OCG last week or so. Where's Mermail? I thought I had some Mermail tops. Has the deck already fallen off? Last month? Mermail? There we go. Mermail Atlantean. Last month, it's not super top tier, but, you know, 100% being played at 1. Deep Sea Diva. Interesting. I, play tested a few hands of this deck. This is quite interesting as you get to, as we were doing back in the day, summon the Elemental Lord to rip 2 cards out of the opponent's hand. That's nuts. Now, what are our disruptions on this final field? We have the Ice Jade Gamer. The Gamer is going to be able to chain to a card, banishing it, and then also protect ourselves from being banished or destroyed ourselves. Now, what does this one do? I don't think this has any disruptions whatsoever. When your opponent activates a card targeting this card, you get to protect it from destruction and then special summon a water from your hand or graveyard. Okay, so as far as I know, we have the Ice Jade Gamer to chain banish. You don't want to chain banish that, and it does not negate. Anything that activates, chain banish. Diablo Star is here. Activate. We could chain banish it, but we're not going to. We got chain link blocked actually, so we can't chain banish it. You have to be the direct chain link to banish the card you are wanting to banish. Subversion. Ice Jade Gamer pushed into the back row. We're going to chain banish the Subversion, which stops them from being able to return it back on the deck with the Wanted Seeker. Okay, it kind of did something. Wanted Seeker is... No, it does not, actually. Wanted Seeker is Grave or Banished. So, yeah, that just did nothing. It still protected our face-up monsters from being destroyed or banished by card effects for the rest of the turn, which I don't think Snake Eye really cares to do anyway. Sure. Why do I think this is only Grave? Banished or in Grave. Yup. Damn. Outplayed. We got a nice little boost through our field spell. Our level 1 monsters are plus 1100 attack. Flameburge Dragon summoned from the deck. Not going to even push a monster into the back row yet. As we now make our IP Masquerade, let's speed this up. Flameburge Trigger, Reborn, Promethean Princess, push back. We can then go into Zealantis, 1-turn kill, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Game 1 going to O. Maxi in the standby phase before we even make a play. Damn. This would have been how many cards drawn? I believe they would have drawn 3 cards had we been activating this card. Use special summon, then, yeah, special summon, they draw, then summon a token, they draw, level 10 synchro, they draw. So 3 draws for a level 10 synchro, not worth it. We do have our Nibiru though. As we then Nibiru into a crossout designate, negate Nibiru, mate. Damn. 2-0 victory, unfortunately.